What is up, everybody? It is Sunday night. It is time for All Things Fantasy Grounds Talk Show. And before we get started, let me just remind everybody, as I like to do, that the All Things Fantasy Grounds Talk Show is meant to teach and help, but the opinions stated on the show are not that of Smiteworks USA LLC or Fantasy Grounds. And before we get to our guest, let me say hello to my co-hosts. Fury Fate, how are you?
I'm doing great. My husband got me an iced vanilla latte to enjoy during the show. So
I,
I'm a happy person.
it must be nice to have someone in your house who will buy you treats. Robin, how are you?
Kitty cat.
It is pretty nice. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm not feeling well, and I don't have anybody to buy me treats, but I do have treats. And so I got it for myself. I went to the refrigerator, I pulled a Diet Coke out, I did that thing, I opened the can, and unlike the airline attendants, I also pushed that little metal thing back down because I'm not some side of psycho, and then that's how I drink it.
Oh boy.
And so good. So let's welcome our guest to the show. I would like to tell the audience that he's from the UK, so it is 2 a.m. there, and we very much appreciate him being up at all hours. Mr. Dylan Hyatt, how are you, sir?
Very well, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Great that you're here. So, for those that don't know, Dylan is a Dungeon Masters Guild creator. He's one of the creators on there. And he has four Fantasy Grounds products currently on DM's Guild, and I will put the link in the chat for people to look at them. And we Team Chewy has done 3 of them, and so we're going to talk about those today, and we're also going to give away a copy of each of them to lucky winners in the chat. And the 4th one was done by Grim Press, and so we're not going to concentrate on that as it was done by a competitor, but I will let everyone know that the name of that one is the Malady Chronicles. So I'll put the link in the chat for you guys if you want to click on it and check it out. We will not be concentrating on that, mainly because, not because it was done by somebody else, but because I don't have a copy of it in Fantasy Grounds. I only have the ones that we did. So there that is for you guys to check out as well. But the 3 that we did are here in Fantasy Grounds, and they're called Gloria's Gambit Dungeon Edition. We did the Slithering Brood, and we did the Sunken Village of Little Korth, which are all adventures.
Ooh.
Yes, and we're going to ask Dylan, do you have a favorite or one that you'd like to point out some features of, or it's pretty much open to you to say whatever you would like to, sir, about any of these. So have at it.
Well, my favorite would definitely be the first one that I put out on the guild, the Sunken Village of Little Korth. It's just got, I played it loads of times. I've been playing since the 80s. I'm a bit of a seasoned player, and that was one of the earliest games I've came up with, and it's evolved over the periods, over the decades.
Yeah.
So by the time I got to writing it, it had a lot of refining.
Oh, excellent. So this was like your home campaign type of thing, and then you just refined it, and then when DM's Guild came around, you put it on.
Yeah,
Excellent.
it's always wowed the players.
That's awesome. And do we which tier or levels is this one?
It's a level 2 adventure, but it's pretty dangerous at places. So level 3, level 4 as well might be able to take it. Definitely not level 1 though.
Okay.
I love the
Yeah, level 2 it was pitched at, but it could easily it'll handle level tier 1, but it could handle level 3 or 4.
Gotcha. Okay.
I love the sketchy sort of map style and some of the artwork too. Did you do that yourself, or did you commission an artist to do it?
And I think she's talking about the maps.
Yeah, the maps and some of the
Hang
other
on.
artwork.
I think he said.
So I'm not getting. So I can only hear you, Rob.
Oh,
no.
is that right? That seems weird. Why would that be? You're not listening. Yeah, there should be no reason you can't hear the ladies. Well, the question was, Robin had said that she really likes the sketchiness of some of the maps. And is that something that you did yourself, or did you outsource that?
I outsourced it, but I would to my sister.
Oh,
Oh,
there
that's
you
so
go.
Her
cool.
artwork has evolved. So because the Sunken Village was our first adventure, uh, uh, she was using very basic software tools to get her artwork up. It's since evolved since then, but I still like the charm of the original Sunken, her early artwork, which comes out well. The maps were meant to look old and like
Yeah.
discovered in an ancient chest somewhere, and she left her sort of. I can't explain it, but she left a sort of kind of grain to the artwork.
Right. Yeah,
It's great.
I remember a few years ago when they did that project that I was involved with, and you might have been involved. The Monsters of the Guild. Did you do one of those, Dylan?
Monsters of the Guild, no.
Okay, so they specifically set out to do black and white artwork of all the monsters, so that there wouldn't be color, so that it would give it like a first edition sketchbook kind of a feel. And that's kind of what I get from this. These have a like a sepia tone or whatever, but they're really cool. I like stuff like that. Um, I do have a particular disdain for when Wizards of the Coast themselves does it, because they should be paying to have full 18,000 color. That's just a little complaint I have, but I do like the look of that, and it does give you a sort of a sketchbook feel. So that's pretty awesome, and it's great that your sister did those. I didn't know that. Fantastic. Let's see. Does anybody have any questions in the chat? If you do, you guys know what to do. Just type the question and we'll get that answered for you if you have a question. Now, Dylan, I'm particularly interested. You said you started in the 80s. Can you tell us your story? Like, how did you find out about RPGs, and were you a young kid, or were you a teenager, and how did you get into gaming?
I was just turned 20 when this friend was visiting our house, and he just left the player's handbook. I thought, what's this? A rule book that's this would be first edition. Well, first edition hardback of TSR's player's handbook.
Right.
My stepfather read me Lord of the Rings when I was a kid. I grew up in a culture, as it were, with lots of great fantasy stories being told to me. So the idea of being able to be immersed in a world just appealed to me straight away.
Yeah, that's
Which
awesome.
should I just briefly log out and log back in, see if I
You
can
can,
pick
if you'd
up
like to do that. Yeah. The girls haven't said anything since you said you couldn't hear them, but if you want to
Just
just log out and
me.
log
I
back in.
heard a laugh there. I
Oh
heard a
yeah.
laugh.
So
Oh
maybe why don't
yeah.
you?
Oh, okay.
He
He just can't hear Robin.
Then I'll just disconnect and I'll
Why don't
reconnect.
I just come back in?
You
Just
can do
drop
that
out
if
for
you
a
want.
second.
I'll do the
Yeah.
same.
Okay. Yeah. So they're gonna go out and come back in. That's fine. Uh.
Should I stay in if they're coming back
Well,
in?
Robin, see if you can hear Robin now.
Can you hear me now? Hello.
I can. Hi,
Okay.
Robin.
So I think we're
Hey,
fine.
hi.
Okay.
Yay.
It might have been me. It's kind of stormy here, so the internet gets wonky.
Yeah. Internet. It's no good. It's not good for anything.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, a jar of spiders and
I was
worms.
just
Yeah, it's got a slight gothic horror, the Sunken Village.
Yeah, I think so.
all you
It's
missed was me saying, "Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that." Just
Yeah.
constantly.
She was just fawning over everything, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Oh yes. Oh, see. Okay. All right. I get.
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, it's a time paradox story, the Sunken Village.
There's a
Ooh.
time
Where
paradox? What? That's
There's
very
lots
cool.
of
That's very
encounters in
interesting.
this thing. I'm still going.
Is there sort of like a big bad villain in this
Well, wait,
particular
hold on.
adventure?
Don't give away spoilers because people
Oh,
need to buy
well,
this and play it.
true.
there is a
Okay.
big bad,
Okay, you don't have
bad
to.
villain.
Okay, then we won't spoil it. I'm glad to
Yeah.
hear that though. I like when there's like a really villainous sort of person in an adventure. I love that. I don't know why, but I do.
Well, yeah, I mean, the villain of the piece is a necromancer called Vorden and his sidekick Taffy. She's the one with the jar of spiders and worms.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And basically, Vorden's trying to change the history of a battle way back in the past to try and free Orcus, who got imprisoned in the spirit plane. And the heroes turn
See,
up
that
and
doesn't
thwart him.
sound like a villain. That sounds like he's trying to save people that got trapped in time and stuff.
So
Oh,
I'm
Again,
gonna
here I am, like sympathizing with villains all the time.
having Orcus running around is pretty villainous, probably.
I'm gonna
That's
put the
debatable.
link, everybody, in the chat. This is the link to this one that we're talking about here, and there's also a video
Oh, a video.
review that somebody did, so you can check that out. I linked that on there too.
Cool.
And of course, if you want the PDF version, it's available at the other page. You can just click on that, and it'll take you
I
there.
like this one. I'll be picking it up, and my players are too high level, but I'll probably use it as a one shot. This is why I
Well,
like picking them up for that.
it might be quite easy to adapt for a higher level. You might have to change a few of the monsters,
Yeah.
mainly undead. But I mean, it's a great mystery. The characters turn up in a village and find a statue of themselves that's 2,000 years old. Apparently, they rescued the folk of a sunken village, Little Korth, 2,000 years ago in the past, and they perished in the deed and were buried, which is a bit of a spook. What's going on here? Hopefully that's enough hook for them to get going investigating. There's various clues of various temple effects that if they don't take the bait, bad things will happen.
For sure.
Yeah, as
Well,
in
you know, if
every.
they're being, I was gonna say, Robin, if they're being flung into the past, you can always say, well, you're gonna start out as level 2 characters.
Ooh, yeah, that's actually not a bad idea because they're all a level 11 right now. So I struggle sometimes. There's a lot of like first tier and second tier, content on the DMs Guild, but I like picking things up anyways and, kitting them to fit in our world anyway. So I'll be picking it up, but you guys know me. I do that with everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's like sees one picture of a
I'm
map.
like,
I
oh,
gotta
I'll
have
buy it. Yep, gotta have it.
All right, well that's awesome. And that you said that was your favorite, and that was also the first one you did. Is that what you said, Dylan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and one of the things I just want to say about one of my favorite encounters in the Sunken Village is the giant orrery, which is a mechanical solar system.
Yes.
Basically, the characters are being shown around by a girl in the village when this ancient giant mechanical solar system, which is supposed to have been broken down, suddenly kicks off and starts whirling around, and she gets caught on one of the planets, and the characters have got to somehow stumble across up the control console and figure out how to deactivate. And it's just a fun little non-monster encounter that's involves puzzle elements.
Oh,
Cool.
I love the
Yeah, I
sound
love
of that.
those. I like that. It's sort of a. I like it when people do, um, like like in fourth edition they had straight out skill challenges or whatever that fifth edition really doesn't have. So it's nice to have elements of puzzle tree, if you will, or figure outiveness or whatever it might be. Sort of
Keep
a
making
mystery
up
type.
words.
I'm just making up words now. Yeah. All
There's
right.
also each planet. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Oh no, go ahead. Yeah, say more.
I was going to say each planet has its own color. Like there's a red planet, and they've all got a white planet. They've all got special effects when you pull the lever to try and deactivate it. So if some of the characters, because the whole thing's rumbling, not all the characters might be able to get off the orrery disc in time. So while these levers are being pulled, strange, like well, there's the equivalent of Venus, a planet of love. If you press, if that someone's next to that, they might end up being enamored by the nearest PC. They fail their
Ooh.
saving throw. Silly but fun little, you know,
Yeah,
challenges.
exactly.
That
Yeah.
sounds awesome.
Fall in love with your party member, nothing you can do about it.
Oh yeah, whoever's the nearest one.
Yeah.
There is if you make your saving throw, obviously.
Excellent. Well, that seems like a lot of fun. I'm sure a lot of people would be interested in. I know at least one who is. No names, Robin. Anyway, so let's talk about another one. Should we talk about Slithering Brood or Gloria's Gambit?
Well, Gloria's because they're standalone adventures, but I've written them with links so they can be run as a story arc. So really, Gloria's Gambit, Slithering Brood, and the Sunken Village are 3 in a row that you could run connect together. So I suppose we better start with Gloria.
Oh, excellent! I didn't even
Oh,
realize
cool.
that they were connected. That's
Yeah,
excellent.
there's little purple boxes where you where you it sort of rolls over into explains the campaign element of it. It's very loosely linked, so you can run them as individual stories.
Oh,
You can
okay.
also
That's
run them as a
cool.
campaign arc.
Oh, nice.
So if Sunken Village is tier 1, would Glorious Gambit be a tier 2?
No, no.
Kind of pick up.
Gloria's Gambit and the Slithering Brood are tier 1 as well. They're both first level adventures, and then the Sunken Village is I mean, this is the craziness of it. I've signed myself up to writing 40 adventures, and I've only got this
Oh,
far.
wow.
The idea is you can run them all in an arc. You can run them all in an arc, and there's 2 levels, 2 adventures per level. So 2 at level 1, 2 at level 2. I'm finishing off the next level 2 one, which will follow the Sunken Village. But you can play them individually as separates as well. So it's not.
Oh, okay. So this is actually before Sunken Village,
Yeah.
as far
So
as
yeah,
goes.
Gloria
Okay.
is a bandit woman who she's in a troop of bandits called the Notchblades, and her boyfriend, sorry, no, her brother, sorry, Glorien leads the bandits, and he's not very nice. He treats her really rubbish, and basically they go down into a goblin mine, uh, and she's sent on ahead to scout and falls down a trap of a water trap, and her brother leaves her for dead. This water trap has a little tunnel at the bottom that leads out to a well, and she escapes. And having decided that her brother's
Trash.
trash, basically, when he doesn't return, and the goblins overpower the Glorian and his bandits, she flees back to the base and then decides, well, let's get a bunch of stooges to do the work for us. So she strolls into a pub where the PCs are and says, I've got a map and there should be treasure in here. And her plan is to fall down the same trap again, fooling the PCs that she's drowned. They carry on and sort out the goblins, come out with the treasure. It's got a beer trap in there, which is fun because it's a dwarven mine. And she will be, if the players aren't smart and just go along and not ask questions, they will be in for a nasty surprise when they come out, because she'll be waiting with her bandits to pick them off and say, to take the treasure off them.
Nice. Fooling the party. That's my favorite. That's my
I
favorite ploy.
like it.
Yeah, I like it.
There
She
was
is
a
looking for
question in
stooges.
chat
Oh, sure.
from it was from earlier from Clowork, who also is from the UK. And
Sweet.
I believe the question was, where are you based, Dylan?
Where am I based?
Hmm.
I live in Norwich,
Norwich. I have no idea
which
where that
is in
is.
the middle of nowhere.
It's Norwich, next to Cremeshire, and down Locken KH94. I don't know. I'm just fucking around.
Stop
I have
it,
no
Rob.
It's Norwich is a southern county, but it sort of juts out. It's in Norfolk, which sort of juts out, and because it goes nowhere, it means we're very lucky that we have the lowest COVID incidence in the UK, because no one ever comes here
Nice.
or goes through here.
That I'm going to
Well,
tell you right now.
now
That
we
is my dream location to live. Is wherever there's nobody else. That's what I aspire to. But no, I live in a city.
Oh yeah, that's like way down there. I'm looking at the map now. Because unfortunately my knowledge, thank the American education system, I don't know very much about the UK other than what we learn like in history,
which isn't much.
which isn't much. Yeah,
New math.
I was looking at it though.
The reason people don't know about geography is because new math. That's why they don't know it.
Well, I just never paid attention to it.
Yeah.
That and because everybody kind of
Clowork
glossed over
says
it.
He is in. I'm gonna pronounce it wrong.
Leicestershire. I don't know.
Leicester. Yeah.
I probably we would say that's pronounced Leicester. That's what we. That's the
Leicester?
American.
Leicester. It's actually
Oh,
Leicester.
Leicester.
Is it Leicester?
Yeah,
I can't
a
spell
number of
Worcestershire.
the
I don't know how to spell Greenwich. It's Greenwich. I don't
Oh,
understand any of it.
Greenwich is easy. I knew
Well,
that
it's yeah,
one.
it's Greenwich, right?
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
spelling isn't phonetic because a lot of places their names before dictionaries standardized everything. A lot of things were spelt differently,
Mm-hmm.
but the
Yeah.
pronunciations carried on.
I was just having a conversation today with a friend of mine about the James Bond movie A View to a Kill, which was some 35 years ago. And in that movie, James Bond disguises himself, gives himself an alias of James St. John Smythe. And I saw that in print, and St. John is the British pronunciation of St. John. And that bothered me for 35 years until I figured it out. I'm like, but yeah, if you say, ST period JOHN is St. John. I guess at least in some parts of Britain it is.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, you wouldn't until you see it written down. You don't know.
Yeah.
Leicester,
I
he
mean,
says
like,
it's pronounced Leicester. Yeah.
my knowledge of the way things are pronounced in the UK comes from like watching Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, So, and they usually have like a very London
or
sort of
any
accent.
American television show in the last 10 years, you can learn how to say British because
yeah.
all the actors are British.
So I think, I'm just going to say this and then we'll get back to Fantasy Grounds, but I think that British slang is like the best slang in the whole world and Americans should adopt some of British slang words.
I agree.
They're awesome. Okay, that's all.
I totally agree. Excellent. And for those of you that care, Robin is in Illinois and Fury is in Texas, and I'm in Washington State, where we have just had a whole total shutdown again. Thank you. All right. So this was the level. So what was the order again? Dylan, was it
Glorious Gambit
is first?
It's the first. Yeah.
And then Slithering and then Sunken. Okay. So let's look at. Oh wait, let me put the link for people. So the one we just looked at, everybody, is Glorious Gambit. Here's the link for that if you guys want to check it directly. And again, stick around because we're going to give away a copy of each of these at the end. But if you can't wait, just go buy it now. Whatever. All right, let's look at Slithering Brood. And
that sounds like there's going to be a lot of snakes.
Mm-hmm. I like the sound of this one already.
There's slithering in it. Now let me show the DM's Guild that there's pictures of these two guys.
That is so adorable. Did your sister do this artwork also?
Did.
Awesome.
Wow, she's awesome.
Yeah, you can see it's come along since the first stories.
That's so cool. I need to tell my brother to do DM's Guild stuff with me.
Yeah, right?
Like,
she gets a cut on any sale I make. So
that's
good.
Sophie,
awesome.
Your sister, Sophie, right? Sophie Hamilton?
Yeah,
she's awesome. We love her. Okay, well, so tell us about this one then.
It's a village mystery, Slithering Brood. Dark cult. Molosky is the goddess of giant slugs, worms, and slimy things. Snakes don't actually come up in it, but it's more sort of giant worms and snails, and weird stuff.
Why are you so excited about giant worms?
Because I love gross monsters like that. That's so much fun.
That's a picture of Molosky there, the statue of her.
This was her? Okay, let me see that again.
Yeah, and basically it's a dark cult that sort of faded out, but this guy called Castor, who's actually a priest, but he passes as a traveling minstrel and jester. He's discovered an ancient cave where her temple was, and has been luring people up there with tales of gold, showing fake gold, and ultimately his plan is to sacrifice. Whether he's staying at an inn called the Acorn Cup, and he's going to sacrifice the barmaid there,
cool,
Aniela, and there's various other things going on in the village that might throw the characters off. They stay in a villa, which is haunted, but has a number of clues to help them if they look around. There's two farmers are having a feud, and without going too much into detail, this leads to the death of the sheriff of the village, and so there's a red herring that sort of the characters might get stuck in the local politics and go down the wrong tree, which will have bad results for the village, because it means because if enough sacrifices are made, Molosky can return from the Shadow Realm and the usual stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean when you say the usual stuff. The usual bad things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah,
this
there's
is
a
like
couple of
cool.
puzzles in. That's a puzzle,
oh,
another
I like it.
puzzle.
You can we can have tokens and move the tokens, and oh yeah, that's
That's
fantastic.
cool. Yeah, I like that. All right, I've got to get the whole set now.
I was hanging on this picture because I was gonna make a joke about it, which is now long since been too late, but I can't help myself. This is obviously Osama bin Laden's compound, is what I was gonna say, but now that's just lame. Okay, so forget I said that.
It's actually it's based on a Roman villa.
That's the first thing I thought of when I thought is go in there and get him. Which actually in the game of D&D might apply. Go in and get him. This is the swinging acorn. I don't know what the name of it is.
That's the acorn. That's the inn where the characters will need to do their investigations at some point, and where Castor is staying. That's the one of the oh yeah, that's the inside of the Acorn Cup. There's a number of encounters that might kick off there, including some giant slugs in the attacking the inn at one point.
Nice.
See, I just feel you just need to stock up on a whole bunch of salt, throw it at the slugs and the worms. And
Your biggest weapon is, do you have a sword? No, I have salt. That's all I need. I
right?
just have salt. Oh,
Ooh,
see, I
that's
don't know.
cool.
I'm crazy excited about like brightly colored things. It's like when I would they don't so much do this anymore, but one of my favorite things about buying video games in the store was looking at the boxes on the shelves. Like I got so excited. I don't care what the game is. Look at that box.
That's
Yeah.
a little what do you call it, amulet. That's if the characters are canny and search the stables. I think that's in one of the saddlebags of Castor's horse, or it might be in his room. I can't remember, but it's one of the clues. But I like to leave adventures fairly write them. I mean, the Sunken Village is fairly linear, but both the Slithering Brood and Glorious Gambit are fairly open. Where in that where the story goes is pretty much up to the players, and the DM just has to. Well, he's got enough information there to go with the consequences of their actions.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
nice.
awesome. I like
That's
that.
good.
Yes. What they said.
I mean,
I
especially for,
agree.
like,
I concur
especially for
100%.
like beginning DM. I mean, if you don't know how to lead the party, that looks like it's very helpful to have all those extra options.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if somebody says, "Is this where we're supposed to go?" Sure.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter, right? Yeah.
Whenever my players ask that, I say, I don't know. Is that where you want to go? Or something like that, and make sure that they're proceeding in the way that they want to,
I had a DM who I don't use it, but I don't say it verbatim out loud to my parties, but I treat my games this way, and he would always say, "I like to be the yes DM. If you ask me to go somewhere or do something, I'm just gonna say yes, and we'll figure it out."
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a
Agreed.
good policy. Yeah. So this is.
I mean, it's one.
Yeah. Here's a note about continuing with the different ones, the different adventures.
These arts are so I love them.
And I love it that that's your sister. That you're like, hey,
Yeah,
just draw
that's
some
even
stuff.
better.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
she's got a good
cute.
sense of humor.
There's a
Sophie,
dude in
so.
the mouth. He's been swallowed. His arm and his leg.
So, Dylan, do you gather your family to play test your modules or your little campaigns?
my son's 23, and if it's not on a computer, he's not really interested.
Oh.
Oh,
Well,
That's
guess
all
what?
right.
It's
That's
on a
fine.
computer now. That's right. There it is.
That's true. Yeah, but I know I'm in a group of friends. We play board games and role playing games, and I play test with that crowd.
Awesome.
that's nice.
See, I make my family play. I've like forced them. My husband and my mom, she's in her 60s. She just started playing like a year ago. And it was really cool teaching her because, for her generation, it just wasn't the thing to do or whatever. So it's really cool seeing her like explore it as like a new player, whereas I've been playing since I was 8,
Oh,
and she
cool.
doesn't play video games or anything. So I love that she just thinks everything is so, the fantasticness of it to her. It's really magical. I love it.
Just got a couple more sales off just this picture alone right
Oh,
here.
Rob, stop it. Poor Daniela. What happened to her?
It'll be all right if the players are sharp.
Good. That's
She'll
good.
survive, baby.
I like the wizard.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, he's the link. He's mainly a link for the whole campaign.
Okay,
So
cool.
if you want to run the 3 event, well, it'll be the whole series of adventures eventually. But if you want to run them as a campaign, he's central to that.
These are so awesome.
Yeah, very awesome. And speaking of how
So-
awesome they are, let's give some of them away. Why don't we do that? This will be.
Yeah.
All right. You want to start with Gloria's Gambit?
I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'll run 3 separate drawings. So let's do that. So let's do, Gloria's Gambit will be, this is the first one. And I'll say that, normally we tell people, well, no, I think we should keep it. Yeah, so choose the one you want the most, everybody, because you shouldn't double or triple win. So we want to give away 3 different people. So let's start with this one. And it will be exclamation Gloria in the chat. And this will be for the Fantasy Grounds version of Gloria's Gambit Dungeon Edition. And I'll draw a name, and then whoever wins it will win it. And then I'll do it again for the other 2. And we'll keep it like that.
So, Dylan,
go ahead,
besides 5e games, do you play anything else?
Oh yeah, well, board games. I'm trying to think what our current favorite is. A variety of board games, basically. You probably never heard of them. Hawaii.
I love Hawaii.
Oh really? It's
I'm
a great game, isn't
huge
it?
board gamer though. I have like over 100 board games. We play board games all
cool.
the time. So you've probably never heard of it. I've heard of it. I played that at my friend's house in Missouri. It's super
It is a
fun.
classic.
Yes, it's great. What other games do you like?
Oh God, trying to think what we played recently. Well, for light games, Seven Wonders is fun.
Yep, Seven
Yes,
Wonders is great.
I prefer Seven Wonders
good
Duel.
one.
I play that against the computer because I don't have friends. But yes, Seven Wonders is good too. I love that game. All right,
Cosmic Encounters.
Ooh,
let's
I
draw-
like Cosmic Encounters. I don't own it, but I played it once. So much
Did you
fun.
play it with 1 power, or because we play it with, there's alien powers.
Yes,
We play it
just one.
with a house rule. Each player has 2 or 3, which
Yeah,
makes
we
it really
played it
fun.
with just one. We played it like
Oh.
the tester box in our board game store. So we were just learning the game and
There's
very
a great
newbie.
a variation, which is to play. Every player plays it with 2 or 3 powers, and it just becomes really hard, but
That
it's
sounds
fun.
crazy, but
It
fun.
is.
So Tom Knapp, 1976, won the Fantasy Grounds version of Glorious Gambit. Tom, you know what to do. DM me in what's it called? Discord. Thank you.
Discord.
Yeah, and then now I'll do the second drawing, which will be for Slithering Brood. And we will make the keyword for that slither.
Slither.
Slither. So type in the chat exclamation point slither. You have to spell it right, SLITHER. and then we will draw again. And after the show's over, I will send these people. Tom, make sure and send me your tell me Gloria's Gamut and your DM's Guild email in the PM, please, and then I'll give it to you right away after we're done. And then we'll draw a couple more. Now, Dylan, do you have any projects that you're working on? It doesn't have to be Fantasy Grounds; it can be anything. But did you want to let anybody know about what you're working on?
I'm currently working on the Masquerade, which will be the 4th adventure in the
Nice.
series.
Yes.
Oh, nice. And when will that be estimated to be finished?
I was hoping to get it out at Christmas, but unfortunately, partly because of various other projects I got bogged down in, and partly because my sister has moved, we've delayed it. So it will be hopefully February next year, and of course, it will be made available for you in Fantasy Grounds.
Excellent!
Yay!
Yay! All right, let's draw the second winner.
Good, because I need a complete set.
Person is George Orr. Nice going, George Orr. And you know what to do. Send me the name of it, which is Slithering Brood, in a PM with your DM's Guild email. And I know George knows how to do that because he's won before. All right, let's do the last one. The last one is Sunken. Whoops, I went to the wrong. Sunken Village. So I will type that in. And we'll make the keyword sunk. So just type in exclamation point sunk, S-U-N-K, everybody, and then we'll pick a winner for that, and then we'll be done. Hey, Dylan, is there anything else you'd like to say to the folks who are watching? Also, this will also be on YouTube, so if you want to give your socials or your Twitter or anything, or just express anything to the audience that you'd like to say, it's an open forum, sir, for you to say whatever you'd like.
Well, I just hope you check out the adventures and enjoy them, and any feedback would be really appreciated. I can't think of much more to say than that, really. I'm not really on Twitter very often. I do have a page there, but we've got a Facebook page for Rampaging Snails, which is like just the little fun logo me and Sophie came up with for our stories.
It's called Rampaging Snails.
Rampaging Snails on Facebook, yeah. I think it's called that. Or, well, yeah,
let's
Rampaging
see.
Snail. Or it might be Rampaging Snail.
Rampaging
I can't
Snail
remember.
Adventures?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it? Okay, here, I'll post that in
the So there's a little thing about the Masquerade coming out. We hope to get it by Christmas. It's now out of date because it's got delayed. So I'll be changing that very soon to say January or February. But that's where where I post the latest story that we're coming up with.
Okay. Oh, here's this.
So
yeah,
cool.
there's that picture I like.
That's adorable.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
All right, let's see where we are on the drawing here. Is it over? Oh, it is. Okay, go ahead.
That eyeball is from because in the sunken village of Little Corf, it's the villain has got this artifact called the Time Twister, which is an hourglass that's like 3 foot tall, but it's full of eyeballs, slithering eyeballs. Well, it's not slithering, but eyeballs in a horrid ichor, and so that's why my sister sort of put that up, and also it's because he's it's his own. He doesn't the villain doesn't understand the artifact, and it's his misuse of it that actually brings the characters into the past.
Oh, that's so
he
cool.
actually tries to stop them interfering with his first ritual, but what he doesn't understand is that they're from the future. So in trying to stop them, he actually brings them back.
That's
awesome. A bit hard to explain, but
that's fun.
I love it.
All right, let me pick the third winner here, and that person is boom, Moskinfaz, which I hope I said right. It could be Moskinfaz. I don't know, and I noticed that the all three winners were followers, which is awesome. So Moskinfaz, I don't think you've won before, so I'm going to give you my Discord link. And what you need to do is go to that link and send me a direct message And in that message, just remind me that you won the Sunken Village and give me your DM's Guild email, and then I'll make sure you get that. And congrats to all the winners. Yeah!
Congrats!
Yeah, congratulations.
So that's it. We have 3, soon to be 4, of Dylan's products in Fantasy Grounds module form. Hopefully we're going to see the 4th one come early 2021 and get that up there for everybody. But meantime, you guys can all go check out these, and congrats to the winners for who got the free copies. And any other questions from you ladies that you would like to ask Dylan?
I have one last question before we go.
Okay.
Dylan, what inspired you to do these adventures sort of like in a chain together? I really like that, so I'm keen to hear why.
Well, you get more depth out of a story arc. So there is a deep story arc which is in the background of all the stories. And if the GM decides to run them as a campaign, there's just so much more depth you can add. But if you run them in isolation, there's a different depth that will be, the DM's current campaign. So they work in both ways. But basically, I've got the campaign theme is. It's quite hard to explain, really.
I'm sorry. I get what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
Like when there's a deeper story, it's more meaningful, and I think players probably connect to it more too. So I like
Basically,
that.
it came from my homebrew campaign, my own setting. But so because on the DM's Guild they have to be neutral and or for Forgotten Realms. So I've written them as either Forgotten Realms or neutrals. So I've sort of had to sort of translate everything, the campaign elements that way. But basically, I've got this idea of a civilization of elves, dwarves. It's a theme that comes up in other story campaigns, but of the free fledgling races with elves, dwarves, and a bird-like people called the Avalovians. They're probably like the Aarakocra in the monster manual.
Okay.
And these 3 races were gifted the orbs of the plains, which allowed them to connect their civilizations through teleports. But the elves could travel through the Feywild, the dwarves through the elemental plane, and the Avalovians through the spirit plane. But what happened was there was a battle with the gods, the dark gods, and there's a battle between the Chaosians, I call them, a pantheon of dark, crazy gods and the standard gods, and the gods had to imprison the Chaosians on the plains, but that meant their auras seeped out into the material world through the teleport networks, so they had to be shut down. And the Sunken Village particularly covers that the start of that, because there's a whole great big marsh called the Grey Creeping, and this marsh was created when the network that went through the spirit realm began to leak. And don't know if any of that made any sense.
No, it did.
It did,
I'm
yeah.
just listening enraptured. I love it, and I'm really excited to see more from you. And I have to have all of these now. So thank you for that. Was
Oh,
really
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
I could
Thank you.
listen for hours, but that's just me. I like this kind of stuff. So
So, Dylan, I want to thank you for joining us, especially because it's very early where you are, and we really do appreciate your time.
indeed,
And we'd love to have you back in the future. Maybe when the next one comes out, we can bring you back on and we can talk about that.
yes.
When that's all released next year, that'll be fun.
Thanks for having me on.
All right. Well, thanks again, and good night to you, sir. And stay safe in the UK, and spread the love for us over there across the Atlantic.
Yeah, I hope things settle down where you are in Washington.
Thank you very much. I do too.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you,
See you all
Dylan.
soon.
Take care,
Bye,
Dylan.
thanks.
Bye bye. All right, there he goes, everybody. Dylan Hyatt. He's super awesome.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and I've never spoken to him until today. I mean, I've obviously over the years on Messenger or email or whatever, but I've never spoken to him just now. So there you go, everybody. Congrats to the winners. Don't forget that after we end the show, we are going to play a Jackbox party game. So if you're interested in that, you can hang around. We will stop the stream and then start it up again in a few minutes, and we can have up to 10,000 players. So I mean, everybody can play. Come on. Next week we're going to go over Tasha's Cauldron of Everything and give away a copy of it. I'll buy one and give somebody something. Yes, that's going to be exciting. And that means more work for Rob Tui because I got to update all the coding packages.
Yeah, and if there's monsters in it, I'll have to update my stuff.
That's right.
Yay.
And then Christopher Moneymaker. Hey, should we do this?
You love the name.
Robin.
I know, what a great name. Is that a real name or
I think that's his real name. Do you see what I'm typing here, Robin? Should I do this?
Yeah, you should do that.
Okay.
Because yep.
All right. Nope, that's wrong. Robin Noix, everybody. Noix. Robin Noix.
It reminds. Do you watch Epic Rap Battles of History? Does anybody watch Epic Rap Battles of History?
I have
He
not.
used to.
There's one that's like Zeus versus Odin, and so when Odin is or Thor rather, Thor is doing like his little rap thing, and there's like this little guy. He says, "We don't get nice, we get Norse," and then the little guy in the background goes Norse, and I don't know. It just reminded me of that.
Norse.
If you don't watch Epic Rap Battles of History, then you won't get it. So moving on.
I got turned on to Tigtone. Does everybody know what Tigtone is?
No.
So my friend here in Spokane, he texts me and he goes, "Did you tell me to watch Tigtone?" I'm like, "What the fuck is Tigtone?" And he goes, "Oh, well, I'm telling you to watch it." And they're like little Adult Swim, 12-minute, like animated D&D-ish.
What?
But it's just it's just full of jokes and it's super crazy. And I've only seen
Where can one watch this?
HBO Max maybe or
okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna watch it.
Look it up, everybody. Tigtone. George Orr recommends. So so next week Tasha's, and then Christopher Moneymaker. He's just another DM's. Well, I don't mean to say just, but I mean he's once again another DM's Guild creator. And then on the 6th of December,
Max.
we just booked her. Her name's Robin Nix, and she will come on and talk about the new D&D module released on the Dungeon Masters Guild, which is the spell codings for the Deep Magic 700 spells, y'all. She's been working on it since 1987.
Shut up. Look, in my defense, I have a lot of shit going on, okay?
Yeah. No, I wasn't. I just was saying it's a massive, 700 spells, And then we're going to fill 3 more shows before the end of the year, and then we our comeback show in 2021 will be on Valentine's Day, which both Fury and Robin will definitely be there. Okay. I'm probably going to be there. The joke will be that I'll be doing that show alone with no date. That's what the joke's going to be. But we're going to give away a lot of prizes on that show, whether they're here or not. I'm just going to give away
for all the lonely hearts.
Yeah, hearts. Okay, so let's see. Anything else? I think it's time to go and turn it again and then play games. Is that right? Do I have that right?
Sure.
I guess so. Sure.
So
good night, everybody.
Good night. Tip your waitstaff. Try the pepper steak. All right. So once again, guys, we'll turn the stream off and then we'll wait a few minutes and come back and then we'll play games. And until that time, good gaming, everyone.